Welcome to the AMA. This is today we're meeting with the Cometh project, and it's a really cool game based on DeFi, and I'll let them get into the details a bit more. But really excited to learn more about this project myself, and I'm excited for you guys to get a peek into it if you haven't yet. So let's get started, and I'd like to introduce Cometh.
Yep. All right, everybody. My name is Jerome. I'm very happy to be here with you today. I'm one of the founders of the project. I'm super happy to tell you more about what we're building. And to begin with, let's say that we tried to build a game that take advantage of everything inside blockchain. We wanted to have a game that is based out of the blockchain, that rewards players out of the blockchain, that exposes primitives and services that are on the blockchain, and also that uses an engine that's built out of the blockchain. And so we ended up with an NFT game, of course, because if we have NFTs for game assets, why not use them? And on top of that, we wanted to have new ways for the players to interact with each other. So Cometh right now is a real-time strategy game where you control a spaceship. You move in space by connecting with other players. So you pay another player to move you, and the other player pays you to move. You choose how much you want to be paid to move. And the goal of the game is to find the right position in the game, so that when an asteroid is passing by, you are mining this asteroid and collecting the token that are on top of it. So that's what we've been developing and improving and correcting for the past 9 months. And now we are entering a new step in our adventure, migrating to more of a MMORPG setup. So Cometh is going to become a little bit like EVE Online, but pixel art and blockchain based, basically. And inside the game, player can access different services such as a DEX, which is Cometh Swap, trade NFTs, exchange NFTs with other players, and also rent their NFTs, because there is rental services you can use when you're not playing. You can rent your NFTs to other players and earn some yield that's being generated by other players. So you create your leasing contract and so on. And we have also some mini games you can play where you can just avoid asteroids, avoid black holes on a squatter, for example. And we are introducing those new types of games, and pretty soon I think we'll be able to showcase a battle between players and versus players, also involving other players NFTs, other NFTs from other projects. So it's super cool for us to start building out strong relationships, strong collaborations with other NFT projects, because we want the players to be able to feature their NFTs inside Cometh, even if they are not from our project in the beginning. So yeah, that's a broad overview of what we've been doing.
Wow, that's pretty wild. And you launched in February, correct?
Yeah, that's right. We built the game over 2 to 3 months, and then I decided to go live with it, just to test the primitives, test the overall concept. And in the early days, we were trying to go with Arbitrum at first, so scalability solutions that were supposed to go live in January. So we're like, okay, let's go live on the same time of Arbitrum. Unfortunately, Arbitrum got some delays, and now we're super happy that they are now fully available on the mainnet. So we were looking for the right infrastructure to deploy on without delaying too much our go live. And at this stage, we were in touch with the Polygon team and feeling pretty good with them. So we went live on Polygon, and we kind of matured at the same time as this network matured as well. And now we are looking at scalability solutions. These are on top of Matic. If you've been following the news, Hermes network was acquired by Matic. There are other stuff that's going to come as well, and we'll see in the future if we are going to deploy on Polygon or deploy on top of something on Polygon or in between Polygon and the mainnet. We plan on going to ETH Lisbon in October and release some proof of concept of new scalability solutions dedicated for our game, still connected to the mainnet and to Polygon, and that potentially other projects will be able to leverage as well.
Very cool. Yeah, so kind of seeing how everything lands with the chains and how they're coping with congestion and all that. Is that part of your plan?
Yeah, that's well, it's finally well, if you take a step back and you as a project builder or project or any developer or any dApp user, in the end, your dApp or your application is a block space consumer. There's a bandwidth on the blockchain, and you are consuming this bandwidth. Now the blockchain kind of reverse the natural interactions you have with a classic application. So if I'm using WhatsApp, let's say, the servers of WhatsApp, actually the servers of Facebook, are paying for the bandwidth or are extracting value from me one way or another, but they are giving me the services. In the blockchain, what's difficult is that the players are actually paying for the service every time they do a transaction. So you can have a minimum on-chain thing and have everything else out of the blockchain. We believe we can do something a little bit better, like have as much things on-chain as possible. And so far we've been 100% on-chain, but still try to not have the players actually pay for the services. And so we were in the early days one of the biggest block space consumer. We tried to do lots of improvement on how our contract works, so we not overcrowd the network. I remember at some point, like maybe in March or April, we were like 10% of each Polygon blocks were things coming from Cometh, so it was pretty wild.
Oh wow.
And then we ended up suffering from the success hug of Polygon, because
Yes.
at some point it was super hard to actually cast transaction in a reliable manner. Also for our users, you have endpoints that they need to connect to. Not all the users are running their own nodes. I mean, little to no users are running their own nodes. But in the early days of Ethereum, that was the model. Like you were supposed to run your get node. When you have your get node, you access Mist. Mist is a browser where you run the application, and you can browse the internet, but you can also browse your application. So you are connected to your own node. So imagine that, like the infrastructure of Polygon, from a technical standpoint or RPC endpoints and so on, didn't scale as fast as the activity on Polygon scaled. So we had some hiccups where the RPC didn't handle the volume as it would have. Like we did a Grand Prix where 700 players connected at the same time, almost everyone on the same RPC, and I don't know what DeFi thing was starting on Polygon at the same time, so lots of people couldn't connect, couldn't get any transaction through. But overall, like I don't want to sound bitter or not happy with Polygon. We are very happy with what happened there, and it's just normal
Growing pains.
normal development cycle.
Yes.
So
Yeah, and at Decentral Games, we're facing the same types of bumps in the road, if you will. When we have a lot of active
normal
users during an active time, Polygon can get a little congested. But I know they're working on some solutions, so I have faith.
Yeah, that's we should consider ourselves very happy. We don't have to go with Ethereum mainnet at the moment.
Yes.
On the 7th of February, we went. We told our players to migrate to Polygon, so deposit their spaceships on the bridge and come to Polygon with us. We launched roughly at the same time as Avegochi, kind of in partnership with them, so trying to educate all the players to just migrate there. And that very day, the gas price skyrocketed from 20 gigaway to 200. And we're like,
Yeah.
what the heck? Well, we didn't know that it was going to become the new normal, but still, it's great that we can have less important transactions, still secured in a way by a chain with its proper consensus, and have exit options back to something that may be more secured in some way, like Ethereum. So, I think there is a long way until we get Ethereum 2 and proper scaling solutions for the masses. So, in the meantime, we have to do compromise, and Polygon is a great one.
Yeah, I think we're all in the same boat. So it's so far so good, and just kind of growing together. So this is really interesting. Could you take me through? So I'm pretty new to Cometh. I don't own any ships yet. Very interested. So could you just step us through, like, a new user comes to your site and wants to participate? What's like the best way to do that?
Sure. So first off, we are a game project. So we are going to develop different games, concentrating on one game at the moment, but develop new things on top of it. So letting you battle, letting you do different stuff, and so on. So owning a spaceship is what we consider the alpha players. The players are the players that own the spaceships, and we want to build for the players that collect our NFTs and get our NFTs. We have roughly a method of saying, well, our distribution and creation process of the NFTs is to think about the number of players that we have and try to not flood the market with lots of NFTs. So we try to set a ratio of unique addresses that have played over a number of NFTs that are in circulation, so that we have twice more unique players than NFT in circulations. So the spaceships are kind of expensive. They're not cheap, and if you're not playing, you can just rent them, and if you don't want to buy one, you can rent one. So for a new gamers that just want to try it out, that want to test the thing, there is an inexpensive spaceship that's called the Mule. So you can go on game.cometh.io/shop, or just game.cometh.io and just click on shop, and you'll see the Mule, MULE. It's a 10-matic spaceship that give you also a little bit of cashback in Must, our local token. And what you can do with the Must is use it in game or stake it for future NFTs. And then you can start playing. Once you have a mule, once you have purchased a mule, you can click on play. If you really don't want to spend, you really want it on a budget and you don't want to have an NFT, you can just buy a little bit of Must, I think $1 or $2 worth of Must, and click on rental. So game.cometh.io and click on rental, and you see the rental that are available for the few Must that you will have in your account. Once you have a spaceship, you can click on play, and you are thrown into the galaxy. You are entering the galaxy, and you can start interacting with other players. So there are tutorials available online in our shop. When you click on the spaceship, you can see there is a tutorial video that's suggested to you, like click here, watch it, and learn how to play. But the baseline is when you are in the game, you can access different solar systems. If you have the mule, you have to stick to the academy, and there's a lot of activity, and it's easy to discover the game this way. But if you are in the main game, you can click on other players, move your spaceship, try to find the right path towards an asteroid, try to optimize your path on clicking on inexpensive players to jump on, for example, or if you are in a hurry and want to reposition yourself quickly, you can just click on an expensive guy because you want to position yourself quickly. And when you are mining a comet, when you are in mining range of a comet, you are getting the tokens that are on top of this comet. So right now we distribute LP tokens of various projects or various pools on the asteroids. So it's a play to earn. The more you play, the more you earn. The more you successfully play, the more you earn. And every time you mine a Cometh, you are going to earn between $1 and $2, depending on the various situation in the game or various power of your spaceship and so on. And you can jump from one players to another player, but also from one solar system to another solar systems, because we different style of gameplay between the different existing solar systems that we expose. And that's what Cometh V1, or the game that we developed so far, is like. And this is about to change a lot. There is a V2 coming with many announcements to be made in the coming weeks, and the new white paper with the description of this new, more ambitious game is going to come out in the first week of October. If you are in France and want to meet with the team, we are going to organize a small get-together on the 4th of October to party about the release of this white paper. But also, if you come to Lisbon, we'll be in Lisbon also with some of the team members, and eventually in New York in September, in November. We'll see if we can travel there. So as a new player, well, visit game.cometh.io. Check out our shop, check out the rental. You can try the game for a few bucks. If you like what you see, stay tuned to what we are going to deploy, because the battles and PvP are going to come pretty soon. It's going to be super fun. And then we have an exploration MMORPG that's coming as well. And what's good about Cometh is that if you have a spaceship, or if you rent a spaceship, you'll soon be able to use also the NFTs that you have from other projects and flex them to the rest of the players, or eventually get an aesthetic or a characteristic boost in the game because you are owning those assets.
That's really cool. I like the dynamics of that. So I noticed also there's different races.
Yeah. So it's I'm glad we get to talk about that because our player acquisition initially was to do partnerships with other projects like Avegochi, like Pickle Finance, like Alchemix, like BadgerDAO, and so on. So we reached out to those projects saying, well, let's do a collection together, and who knows, maybe we'll have a Decentral Games collection soon. Let's do a collection together, like you help us design them, we help you design them if you want to design them yourself. We create a new race, you help us on the lore, we help you on the lore, we create something fun, something your community can relate to. And what we do is we put those NFTs on sale. We offer those NFTs also to the people that are staking Must. The last one we did was with Yam Finance, for example, with yam-shaped spaceships called the Yamarians. And what we do with the sales proceeds is we buy the token of the project and we create liquidity pools on our DEX. And then we distribute the LPs to the players, so that there is a flow of new tokens coming into the game for the players to compete against each other to mine them, but also it creates a remnant liquidity on the DEX for this specific token. So it's a win-win scenario. The project gets more liquidity on this token. I get some buy pressure as we sell the tokens. As we sell the NFTs, and then you multiply the number of holders, because like new players or new users get to grab the token through the LPs.
Interesting. Yeah, I love the Gachi spaceships are cool looking.
Yeah, they're really cool. I think the Ghost, yes. Which I think we have maybe a couple of those. These NFTs that are left in the shop, but they are one of my favorite as well. I really love that. I got a completely red Ghost, and I'm super happy with it. The monocle, sorry, the monocle is one of my favorite spaceships. It's available in the shop. There is 36 left at the moment. If you find an all red one, I think they're just gorgeous. Yeah.
Yeah, these are. Yeah, the art is really neat. I really like it.
It really depends on the one you got, because for example the Yam Finance guys, at the moment there is the Alata spaceship in the shop. Those ones, they were designed by the community. You know, they're organized. There is only 7 left. Okay, well, I think it's a very good spaceship from in the current meta, or so I heard from the different players. But you know, they organize those contests saying, hey guys, we are going to do a collection of spaceships, like who wants to design a spaceship, let's and then they pick up some designs. People take their pen and papers, and then we have to translate that into pixel art. Fine. So you have weird looking spaceships that appears. So sometimes that's super fun. Sometimes it's just a super good artist that do something. Like for example, the Don't Buy Meme collaboration we did. It was a really great artist that did design the design, and they are really gorgeous as well. Well, I mean, whatever floats your boat.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, now I want to open the floor to the community, but
Sure.
before that, a real quick question on, well, I don't know if it's quick, but so you mentioned that you're mining LP tokens.
Yeah.
So once you mine the different LP tokens, do you have like a staking piece with those
Yeah.
LP tokens, or how does that work? Do they have to stake that separately, or does it?
Yeah, so like any DEX, we have a policy of rewarding the LPs to make it up for even any impermanent losses or interesting them on staying on our exchange. So if you provide liquidity, or if you grab an LP because you played Cometh successfully, then you can stake those. You can stake those LPs and earn more must if you want, or eventually earn more of another token, because our liquidity reward programs is multi-token, so we can reward with many different tokens. Example, the stake DAO token, the SDT. There is a pool where you earn must and SDT at the same time, so it's cool. You can check it out if you want to have a quick yield. Great. But overall, it's a way for us to distribute to different holders our liquidity, so that it becomes as Cometh Swap as time goes becomes a community-owned DEX. So inside the game, when you mine a Cometh that has LP token on it, the LPs are sent from the Cometh smart contract to your wallet. So you end up with the LPs in your wallet. And if you're not familiar with LPs, the principle is like you go on Uniswap, you go on SushiSwap, you go on AnySwap, or not on AnySwap, but on Cometh Swap, and you can click on pool and provide liquidity. So when you provide liquidity on a pair, you have to balance the amount of token you give on each side, but you are becoming a liquidity providers. Like you are letting people buy and sell both of the tokens. So that's particularly interesting if you are long on both of those tokens. So if you anticipate that both of those tokens are going to go up, well, it makes sense to provide liquidity on, say, Must and Bitcoin, for example, or Bitcoin and Ether, because you're long on both of those tokens. And every time there is a trade from one way or the other, so going from a token to the other, or from the other token to back to the first token, you take a little fee. So you accrue some fees, and you grow your assets by letting people trade on your liquidity. So it's also yield generating in that way, and that's part of our philosophy with what we develop with the different Cometh applications, is that we expose in a gamified manner DeFi primitives to our users. I spent 3 years at Consensus from 2016 to 2019, and it was super hard for us to actually explain those primitives, to actually get people to be interested in those, especially with the bear market at some point. But anyway, once we give out the tokens and we put them in the wallet of a user, suddenly they're like, okay, what is this? What is this tokens? What is it good for? So we wanted to create a funnel where you join Cometh, you play for a couple of minutes, you see a Cometh, you manage to mine it, and then suddenly you have LP tokens in your wallet. So you have discovered crypto 1 week ago, you're just starting out, and that's it. You are now you are now playing with the big players. You are liquidity providers. So what are you going to do with it? So probably you're going to know a little bit more about how liquidity pool works. which I think is great, and it's demystifying on how hard it is by just saying to people, hey, you get liquidity now. You should learn about what it is and get better with it. In the future version of the game, we are going to be able to earn different types of tokens, not only LPs, but that's a way for us to keep the game as a play to earn and keep the best players interested in continuing to play and continuing to do stuff with the game.
Yeah, that's some interesting tokenomics. Very cool. Is there?
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah, and I love how it does help get some gaming minded folks to be exposed to like the DeFi side. So
yeah, and I think what we missed so far, like for those first 8 months, is the lesson learned is that exposing DeFi primitives, connecting the DeFi primitives, like we have a clear roadmap, and we have a clear way of interacting with those and exposing those. But one thing we really missed out on in this first iteration is keeping the fun aspect super high. During events, during competitions that are like for 1 or 2 hours, it's super intense, and people are having lots of fun and intensity of having a game that's very active. Then today the rate at which we deploy new Comeths, and sometimes there is some timeout between the different Comeths, so blank time. We want to keep the players busy. So for us, the next iteration of the game is going to be way more ambitious in terms of content and things you can do with it, and action you can have all the time. And also we want to have the game available on mobile, which at the moment it can run on mobile, but handling properly the wallet and so on is something that we need to make good progress on. So definitely expect lots of things on this front from us. Much more content, much more playability, much more fun coming out of what it is. We're super proud of the proof of concept that we deployed so far, and the activity we had, and the result of the community that is backing us. And I see a couple of them in the chat who have really pushed us to figure out new ways of making it funnier and pushing it to another boundary. So really super excited to see what's going to happen in the next 3 to 4 months.
awesome. That's it's exciting. I love all these new
Yep.
approaches to games. It's so crazy. I'd like to open up the floor. Does anyone in the audience have any questions?
If you want to throw crazy ideas on NFTs, I'm happy to comment, or
Yeah, questions,
Hi.
comments.
or if anything that's not comment related, I'm happy to chat as well.
I may have a question. I don't know if I'm right. Will we be able to do something else on by ships with the dust in the future?
Yeah, that's a very good question. So right now we are introducing new things in the tube. So we have a staking mechanism that's called the tube. We tried different model on the tube with more or less success depending on the different tubes. If you know how Don't Buy Meme works, you can stake some meme tokens in a specific pool, and at some point you can redeem those staking rewards against pieces of art or stuff. And we discovered that when we have dedicated staking mechanism like this for a specific collection, it's pretty hard. And when we have a general place where people can stake, people tend to accumulate a lot and ask a lot and take out a lot of the things that's going on. So we needed to figure out a way to have a proper flow of permanently things to redeem. So that's where we're going. And redeeming ships is something that's going to continue at some point, but also redeeming items. So one of the big changes that we are going to introduce with this new version, and it's already going to be available in the battle system, that's probably going to happen a little bit before the full game release. So in the battle system, you'll have an inventory, and in this inventory, you'll be able to equip different NFTs, notably NFTs that come from other projects, but also Cometh NFTs. so crew members, so hard PCs and so on. So we want to keep our stakers involved by exposing them to new crew members, new pieces of art, new celebratory NFTs or complimentary NFTs that they can use in the game for this. And also, it's an occasion for us to make out for make it up for the people that have staked in other tubes and couldn't and accumulate some dust but missed out on the claiming, and they got a lot of dust and couldn't claim the thing because for example the APY Vision collections got out super fast and a lot of people were staking but missed on the thing. So we want to figure out a way that the players are going to be able to use their dust. But overall, as a must staker, you will have access to new NFTs that's usable in the futures editions of the game. But also, if we manage to do our scaling roadmap right, you'll be able to use the dust in game to move, which is a good way, in our view, to make the game more free to play for some stages. And to have a ramp-up program for people that want to play more. You can play more because you are actually staking some dust and getting some dust. So in the midterm, well, maybe also in the short term, you'll be able to use your dust to do specific actions and use your dust to claim loot boxes, new crew members, and so on.
Okay, thanks for your answers. I have another question that's linked to the Polygon network.
Yep.
You said that Polygon is actually substitution from. Am I right?
Well, at some point you need to choose where you're going to deploy, right? It's when you deploy on another chain, it creates some legacies in your backend and sometimes also in your front end about this network. So I've been vocal and about it. Like it wasn't it wasn't our initial plan to go with Polygon. I mean, we wanted to stay much closer to the mainnet initially, and we didn't look at Polygon at first. But this substitution choice, if we call it this way, was a very successful choice. Like now we are very close with the Polygon team. We are very close to what they are doing and so on. To give you an example, we had many touch points with the Binance chain team. Very good team, very successful chain. But going there instead of Polygon or going there in addition to Polygon is creating lots of hurdles and lots of things we need to figure out. For example, having a direct point of entry with the team doing the mapping of the different assets. So if you want to move from one chain to another, you need to have an existing version of the contract that holds the token on both chains. You're not going to move the Cometh NFT spaceships from one chain to another if the contract is not mapped properly on the other chain. So that's the kind of problems that come along the way when you try to be multi-chain. So right now, I think we're happy with the services that are exposed on Polygon. Happy with how the infrastructure is scaling on Polygon and how the different scalability solutions are either on the pipeline or coming. But we don't want to be on the we don't want to be idling here. We don't want to be just hey, Polygon is working. It could be working better. It could be providing a better experience to our users. But let's wait for them to find an answer to the problem we are getting. We don't want to be in this situation. We want to be proactive, and we want to be we want to propose solutions. We want to propose stuff. So I can't disclose anything right now, but in late October you'll have surprises of what we've been cooking in terms of offering proper scaling and better reliability for our players. But it will involve Polygon, it will involve Ethereum, and we continue to build closely to this team. We have the chance to be one of their multi-sig signers for the bridge, which is bringing lots of certainty and security on what's going on between the game assets on Ethereum and Polygon. So that's great as well. And that's the kind of privileged relationship and mutual incentivization that we like a lot with Polygon. So it was a choice that we made because it was available and it was great in February. And along the way, we had some hiccups, but now we're very happy to continue collaborating with them very closely.
Okay. I'm sorry, I think my English was too crappy, and because I thought you said that you weren't expecting to go that far from the mainnet before, so that's why I asked that about Polygon. But if you're happy with it, that's good. I think I wouldn't be able to enter the game with the fees we have actually on Ether. So that's Polygon is a really good net for the transaction because it doesn't cost much. It's the problem actually is that it's quite long. More yesterday, it was really long. So I hope maybe someday it will go a bit faster. I don't know if you have any.
Yeah, that's what I call the success hug is when you have so much success that people hug you and you can breathe and it takes lots of time for your transaction to get in. So that's kind of the situation where Polygon is right now. They were very aggressive in their strategy of acquiring new applications. They were very successful in bringing lots of very good projects to build on them. And you don't get this level of success without a certain capacity of execute technically. So really kudos to the Polygon team and to what they're bringing here and there. The general ambience when you talk to dApp developers over Polygon is that they listen to everyone and they take care of everyone, even the small guys. We are getting less and less active on OpenSea on our end because it's super hard now to reach out to the OpenSea team and to have a direct relationship with them, due particularly to their success, which is great. But it creates those kind of problems, for example. And what you say when you like, well, I did try to do some transaction. It takes a long time yesterday. Well, that's because yesterday you had a huge market upheaval. Everything was red, and suddenly everybody wanted to do transactions. So people that are paying the most are dealt with in priority. So if you just want to do a simple transaction for cheap, you're going to wait a lot of time. Well, that's how the blockchain works, and you can have your own scalability solutions somewhere and let people interact for cheap and directly for specific purpose applications, and that's the kind of thing that ZK rollups and optimistic rollups are proposing. So that's the way to go, I think. And then secure the thing at the end on either the mainnet or either on Polygon. So let's dig a little bit deeper on what it means for Cometh, right? So if you're a player and you are moving a spaceship towards an asteroid, you are doing a couple of transactions, ideally just one, maybe just one or two, involving other players and positioning your spaceship. So those one or two transactions are going to cost you something in the range of a cent or two, or maybe 3 cents, or maybe 4 cents, depending on the state of the network. And you end up at some place, and you mine a Cometh, and you win $1 or $2, and that's great. So if you look at it really from only an economic point of view, rationally speaking, you're like, hey, am I going to pay more to transact and eventually win, or am I going to pay less? If you are going to pay less to transact and eventually win, you'll be like, well, I'm going to play this game because it's a profitable play to earn. Now, the more you will be paying compared to the reward, the more you have to either compensate with a lot of fun or lose the interest of the players. So that creates something that, well, at some levels of fees, nobody is having fun anymore. So probably if you're going to pay 2 or 3 transactions to get into a certain place on the mainnet, paying maybe $20, $40, $40, whatever, to position yourself and then win $100, the game has to be super, 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 super fun to make you pay this much to be there. So that creates a challenge for us to keep on bringing into the game elements that are rewarding from an emotional standpoint, from a fun standpoint, from a social standpoint, and also from a financial standpoint. And at the same time, making sure that the price of the transactions are really kept super low. So one of the things that you'll see in the future version is that you can craft some items, you can use dedicated resource to craft those items. So we have to make sure that there's an economy for those items, and we have to make sure that there's an economy for the resources you'll use, and we have to make sure that the transaction that you will have to make or that you will aggregate in a scalability solution to make them is not going to cost you anything. So if Cometh is on a ZK rollup or on an optimistic rollup, lots of things can happen on the game side, but when it comes to taking out the resources and do something, it will be profitable or not profitable to do it, depending on the situation of the network at the end of the bridge. So there's lots of consideration to take into account there, and in the end, the focus should be the players should have fun and should be able to play in the best condition possible, like not waiting an hour for having a transaction in, for example. That's what we have in mind and we are considering at the moment.
Okay, I understand that, and thank you. I have a last question, just a quick one. You talked about red ghost that you liked a lot.
Yeah, I like the red Aveguchi spaceships. I think they are super cool, and I have a red monocle. I really love it. Yeah.
Will you drop one someday?
You mean drop it like put it on leasing
like
or something?
Like on the community, drop one of them.
We did some airdrops of spaceships in the past, I think. But yeah, that's in the realm of possibility.
For me, I just joined not that long ago, something like a bit more than a week.
Yeah.
So I missed a lot of things, and I hope in the future I will see some more of them. But I'm pretty happy with the game right now. It's pretty cool. Thank you.
Oh well. No, thank you a lot for trying the game, for playing the game, and appreciating the game, and taking the time to come chat with us in this MAA. But you missed a lot of things in the past, for sure, because the early days were completely crazy, and we had some crazy thing in July and so on. But I can assure you that the next months are going to be much crazier.
I'm waiting for it.
Awesome.
Cool. And anyone else?
Hello.
Hey, we can hear you now.
Okay.
Now we
you hear
can,
me?
yes.
Yeah. I was just asking when this game will be released. Is it going to be released next year or somewhere this month?
Yeah. So right now the game is live. There is a first version of the game you can try and play at the moment. So let me drop the link in the chat. You can try this one. You can also try this one if you want a simple fun games. The V2 of the game, we are working on it. We are committing on deploying the full game worst case scenario in February. But we're making good progress. So if you want to stay tuned with this, we'll be able to show you a lot of good things. We're going to do a demo day at the end of September, showing our progress. So the first version of the game is usable right now. You can play, you can have fun trying out the different primitives. The new version of the game is coming at worst in February. We are at the moment pretty confident it will come way before, but let's not sell the bear skin before it's completely dead. But yeah, you can expect it in the coming months to have new games to play with your spaceship, based on quite the same principle, but also different stuff you can do with it. And if you want to play the game right now, it's available. It's available on game.cometh.io, and there is also a simple, fun game to play on fly.cometh.io. Oh, and taking the question of Fuga, yeah, the mule is not upgradable at the moment, but that's something that we have in mind. So not giving out too much details or leaking too much alpha here, but the free-to-play version of the game will allocate to you on the new version of the game, there will be a free-to-play version where you get a mule, a chained mule, so a mule that's not completely a mule, and you will be able to unchain this mule to get a proper mule if you like the game and want to keep moving forward. And if you have a mule, you'll be also able to play in the regular systems of the game, but the game will be much more difficult than if you have a regular spaceship with all of the perks. And also in terms of inventory, the mule will have different statistics and less inventory slots than a regular spaceship. So for us, the mule is the right entry point if you're on a budget and want to discover the thing, and right now, and you'll be rewarded and have a greater experience when the new game is released. And if you wait for a couple of months and come back and hear about Cometh and want to start it for free, you can just try the game for free, and you'd get and I don't know if it will be called the Mule or something else, but there will be also a free-to-play version that give you access to some of the features of the game as well.
Amazing. So we have about 6 minutes left.
There is a question from Monzier. I don't know how to spell it. The question was, can you explain the difference between Explorer Starter Kit and the Alata Starter Kit?
Yeah, so they have different stats. So very basically, you'll get about 30% of what you spend in Matic as cashback in Must. If you purchased an Alata, what we do with the funds is we buy some YAM token and we create some YAM to Must LPs and we distribute them into the game. If you buy some if you buy an Explorer starter kit, we use the proceeds to create a Must to Matic LPs. So the main difference is that the rewards that you bring into the game by buying one starter kit or the others are a bit different. Also, the design of the spaceships are a bit different. You can see the gray aspect of it in the shop. When you purchase the spaceship, you get a random color. And in terms of statistics, the spaceships differs a little bit. So let's look at what are those spaceships doing. For example, the Alata has a mining range of 12 kilometers and a mining power of 1.1 and a cooldown of 270 seconds compared to the Explorer. The Explorer itself has a way bigger mining area, so 16.5 kilometers, and a little bit higher in terms of cooldown and a little bit lower in terms of mining power. So the Alata would be typically in the current meta a spaceship that's that's rewarding a lot because it rewarding more. It has a bigger statistic. It has better statistics in mining power, and also you have to be more precise than when you are playing the Explorer because the mining area is smaller. So it's a little bit different between one or the others depending on your play style. So that's the main difference is on the statistic of the spaceships.
Interesting. So just kind of depending how you want to take your approach.
Yep. For example, the monocle that I mentioned before, like the one I like my red monocle. I'll drop it in the chat so you'll see which one I'm talking about. It's not a really good ship in the current meta from most of the great players' point of view because it has a very large mining area and for me, that's just I'm not a super good players of my own game, Anyway, I like large area spaceships because I think they're just super fun to play with, and that's my red spaceship.
Check this out. Yeah, I would love to see a Decentral Games ship. That would be super cool.
Yeah, well, that's completely in the realm of possibility, and I think we are. I really heard lots of good things about what you guys are building. So I was very honored when you proposed that we should do a Cometh MAA on Decentral Games, and I definitely love to explore more collaboration between our two projects and communities.
Excellent. Yeah, this has been amazing. I'm so glad you guys came on today. So we have 2 more minutes, less than. Immediately following this, we have a Cometh and Friends meta party at Tamanoia. So we're going to have a free play competition and a little fiesta. So join us for that. Is there anything, Drim, that you'd like to close out with?
Stay tuned. We have a lot of things to announce in the rest of the month. I think the demo day that we will push at the end of the month is going to be really cool to witness. So if you'd like to keep in touch with us, just add us on Twitter at mustcometh. We will post the news of what we're doing. We are going also to open our newsletter soon. With nice NFTs if you subscribed, confirming this with the team. But just follow us on Twitter and you'll hear about it.
Awesome. Yeah, and feel free to drop any other links you'd like into the voice channel for the community.
Yep.
Thank you so much for joining us, and we'd love to have you all back, maybe talk about some of the updates and progress.
All right, thanks a lot, guys, and see you at the poker tournament, maybe.
Sounds great. See you guys at the competition. Thank you all for coming out.